Hi guys, so Hiranori here, co-founder of Sublime Trading, here with your daily update for the UK and US indices for Friday the 29th of May. Alright guys, hope you're well. So the last trading day of the week as well as the last trading day of the month of May. So it'll be interesting to see how today actually ends the day in terms of price action. Yesterday on the FTSE 100 was a strong day for the bulls, finally got that break and close above the high of April. So in the process printing a new high for the month of May. So far today price is looking bearish, so it'll be interesting to see where price actually ends up by the end of play today. Is it simply a retest of support before I move back to the upside, or is price going to reverse back inside that consolidation for the month of April? Switching over to the US indices, both the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 created new highs for the month of May, but price reversed and finished bearish for the day. Probably a pullback to retest support levels before a breakout and continuation to the upside. The Nasdaq still looking to break and close above the current high of May. But overall, a very, very strong month for the bulls in May so far. So we now need to see how today pans out, where price action closes in relation to support and resistance levels, and whether we will see a continuation to the upside through the month of June. So let's switch to the charts and catch up with price action. So guys, if you're new to these daily updates, then I recommend starting with the recording that's pinned to the top of our Facebook page so that you get a good understanding of what I go through in these charts. As always guys, this is our 3-screen setup. We have the monthly in the top left, weekly in the top right, and our daily chart down here across the bottom. First chart we look at is the FTSE 100. Starting with the monthly, bullish April and a bullish May. We'd like to see price close bullish and then for price to start moving towards this area of resistance, which is made up of the low of last year. If we move across to the weekly time frame, price is below the 200 and the 50 simple moving averages. We can see this move to the upside. Current week is looking bullish. We can see that price is trading above that 6,000 round number. Come down to the daily time frame, price is below the 200 moving average, but finding support at the 20 simple moving average, above the 50 simple moving average, and we can see that price yesterday broke and closed above this pivot level, which is the high of April. So far today we've seen bearishness and price has now come back to this area as support. What we want to see now is this area hold strong and then a move back to the upside, and for price to start moving towards that 200 moving average. Any further weakness and price will then be back inside this area of consolidation. So it'll be interesting to see how price unfolds through June and throughout the rest of summer really, but ideally we want to see price move towards that 200 moving average. Moving to the US market, starting with the Dow Jones, we can see that May is looking bullish. We want to see price close like this and then start moving towards the high of last year, which is acting as resistance. On the weekly, price above the 200 moving average but below the 50 simple moving average, a bullish week so far. And on the daily time frame, price is still below the 200 moving average, not too far off the 200 moving average now. We want to see price continue towards this level, break through this level, and then start moving towards the current all-time high. We can see how the 20 simple moving average and the 50 simple moving average is acting as support. Yesterday's bar gapped up and then closed bearish, but ultimately we're seeing a good month for the bulls in May. We want to see price close above this whole area of resistance, which is which is currently support, made up of the pivot high of April. We want to see price remain above this level and then strength to the upside. Moving across to the S&P 500, we can see a bullish May. We want to see price close bullish and then start moving towards the high of last year, which is also acting as resistance as it is on the Dow Jones. On the weekly, however, price above the 200 and the 50 simple moving average and the 3,000 round number. So we want to see price close above this area of support. And on the daily time frame, price is still above the 200 moving average despite a bearish day yesterday. But we want to see price close above this whole level of support by the end of the month, and then we want to see further strength towards that current all-time high. So the S&P 500 is looking strong for a continuation. Moving to the Nasdaq, a bullish May, very much leading the way. We can see price already trading above the high of last year. We want to see price move towards the current all-time high and then start creating new highs. On the weekly, price above the 200 and the 50 simple moving average. A bearish looking week, although the bulls have started coming in and pushing price up. So there is a wick below this week's candle, and we'd like to see that momentum continue to the upside. On the daily time frame, price above all 3 moving averages. We can see how the 50 moving average is now above the 200 moving average. The 20 is above the 50 is above the 200. Price very much in a bullish trend. A breakout above the current high of May will suggest a continuation towards the current all-time high, and once this is cleared, then we are in new territory. So overall, the indices are starting to look very, very bullish. Moving across to the S&P 500 mini, which gives us an indication of pre-market action, we can see May is looking bullish. We want to see price start moving towards the current, the high of last year, and then move towards the current all-time high. On the weekly, we can see price is trading above the 50 simple moving average. We want to see price close above this level. It's already above the 200 moving average. On the daily time frame, we can see that price move through the 200 moving average. It's come back to retest it. So currently today, we're seeing a pullback to retest the 200 simple moving average. We want to see this area hold strong as support and then a bounce back to the upside. If price breaks through the 200 moving average, then the next area of support will be the 20 simple moving average. Ideally, we want to see price hold at that 200 moving average and that 3,000 round number, and then we want to start seeing further breakouts and strength to the upside. So it'll be interesting to see how Friday ends, which will mean the end of the trading week and the end of May for 2020. And we'll then pick up price action again on Monday, and we'll then like to see price and see how price unfolds through the rest of June. So I'll be back on Monday, guys. Please like, comment, and share. Let's get these recordings out there. We are in a very critical time now where you should really be starting to consider how to build your portfolio given how the indices are aligning. So let's get these videos out there. Let's get people understanding how to build a solid portfolio, and I will be back on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.